This mile-high pie is a real showstopper, and it's so impressive it belongs in the front window of a French patisserie. But guess what? It's actually dead easy to make. I'll give you 2 clues on what it is. It starts with store-bought cookies, and it's no-bake. So guess what? Even if you're the most beginning baker, you can make it. Want to find out what it is? Stick around. I'm Greg Lofts, and you're watching The Slice. Today we're making chocolate cream pie fit for a king. Add 1 9-ounce box of chocolate wafers into a food processor bowl and pulse until finely ground. This crust has only 2 ingredients. These little wafer cookies and melted butter. That's it. Then add 7 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter and pulse until well combined. Just pour it right down into the tube. Pulse, pulse, pulse. So far, so good? Just take a little bit of it into your hand and squeeze, and if it's holding together like it is here, you know it's ready. And a hot tip on a springform pan, you'll see that the base has a lip. See that little lip? That's gonna catch your crust and you're not gonna be able to get it off the pan to serve it. So, flip it upside down. I don't know why recipes never tell you to do that, but this way you'll be able to slide that whole pie right onto your cake plate or stand and really impress your guests when you bring it to the table. We want every last crumb of that crisp chocolatey crust. And the fun part, just take a measuring cup, or you can use your hands, just press that crust around into the base. Press the cookie crumbs evenly into the bottom and halfway up the sides of an 8-inch springform pan. Then place it in the fridge to chill until it's firm, about 30 minutes. And your sides do not have to be perfect. I actually find that the beauty is in the imperfection. So just embrace those slightly undulating lines along the side. That's it. We made a crust. And since I promised you no bake, I'm here to deliver that no bake promise. Just pop it in the fridge or the freezer. It can be refrigerated for at least a day or 2 covered. I didn't plan ahead, so I'm just gonna put it in the freezer for a few minutes until it's firm. Sprinkle 1 teaspoon of unflavored gelatin over half a cup of whole milk and let it stand until softened, about 5 minutes. Pour 1 cup heavy cream and 2 tablespoons of sugar in a small saucepan and bring it to a boil, stirring until the sugar dissolves. As the cream heats up in the pot, the sugar will dissolve into the cream. That's really important before we move on. But while this is happening, we can chop the chocolate. And here's a little hot tip for chopping chocolate. Use a serrated knife like this. This is a super slicer, as it's called. You'll see the teeth will very easily make quick work of breaking that chocolate down. When chocolate is the star of the show, it's important that you're using really good quality chocolate. So this is the time to splurge on good baking bars, or couverture chocolate even as it's called, not the chips with waxes and other added stabilizers. That's not what we want here. They have their place in cookies, but certainly not in a cream pie. That's looking good. Oh, and we're ready on the cream. Add the gelatin mixture, stirring until it dissolves. I'm going to switch to a whisk here to make sure all of that gelatin is dissolved. That's really important. There we go. All right, it's time to add all that chopped chocolate. Add 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, cover, and let stand for 3 minutes. Then stir until combined. Don't work too hard. Just let this hang out in the pot for a few minutes. The heat of the cream will be enough to melt the chocolate, but it does need a few minutes of contact before you stir it together. Just keep stirring until it comes together. It should be totally smooth and homogeneous. It smells like hot chocolate. I wish I were sitting next to a campfire right now. Now, if you want to go for extra credit, and I always do, strain this mixture through a fine mesh sieve. That's just going to ensure that we don't have any lumps or bumps in our finished pie. Oh yeah. Just gonna press this through. I don't want to waste any of this mixture. It's like liquid gold. Return the filled crust to the refrigerator for at least 6 hours and up to 1 day. Combine 4 large egg whites and 3/4 cup sugar in a heat-proof bowl set over a pan of simmering water. Whisk constantly until the egg whites are warm to the touch and the sugar is completely dissolved, about 3 minutes. This double boiler action is going to warm the bowl just enough to dissolve the sugar into the egg whites and just whisk them vigorously Here's the most important thing of all. Make sure the bottom of the bowl is not actually touching the simmering water. See, I just have a little bit in there at the bottom, about an inch. If the water's touching the bowl, you might end up with scrambled egg whites. Those are no good. Off the heat this goes. Accidental facial, it's good. Opening up those pores. Now, if you like to use a stand mixer, you can. Just transfer it into your stand mixer bowl. I like the old school hand mixer, just like my mom and grandma used.
Beat the egg white mixture on medium until soft peaks form, about 3 minutes. Raise speed to high and beat until stiff and glossy, but not dry, about 1.5 minutes.
I'm turning this down so I don't have to scream over the sound of this mixer, but see how it's become opaque white and very thick and is starting to get glossy? We're close, but we're not there yet because it's falling over on itself and we want peaks. Just a minute or two more. Now we're looking shiny and glossy in this bowl. Let's just give it the old peak test here. Oh yeah, that's holding a nice peak. It's not going anywhere, it's not falling off. All right, time to get creative and top this pie. Look how gorgeous this is already, and we haven't even put on the crowning glory yet, this gorgeous Swiss meringue. There's no technique to this, just pile it on.
With a rubber spatula, pile the meringue on top of the pie, swooping and lifting to create peaks.
Use your creativity. This meringue is very forgiving. You can just keep doing this. I'm suffering major mouth-watering realness right now. I hope you are too. This is the really fun part. Little blowtorch. We're just gonna kiss the edges of the meringue. Watch. Happens really fast.
Wave a kitchen blowtorch over the meringue until it's browned in places. Then refrigerate until you're ready to slice and serve.
Oh, and it smells so good. Like marshmallows on a campfire. That's it. Chill this one more time until you're ready to serve it. It'll make it easier to slice too. This is almost too beautiful to eat. Almost. I'm ready to dig in. And for the cleanest possible slice, wipe the blade with a damp towel in between cuts. The big reveal. Here we go. Look at that mountain of fluffy, sweet meringue. This is so good. I'm in heaven. Why don't you head on up and join me?
If you like this episode and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications.